Welcome, everyone, to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Report. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week, Sunday at 1 o'clock, we bring to you what's live and happening in and around our communities. Let's get right off the bat started with Jerry. Jerry, over in Rush, how are things going there?
Everything in Rush is pretty nice. You would expect that because we are the best kept secret in Western New York. We do have some challenges. We can start off with the sales tax share, which was significantly less than we had expected or hoped for, but we understand why it's happening, so we're going to work around it and do what we can to go without this time. Other things, I just said to someone on the phone a little earlier, we've got to hope that our restaurants open up soon because they do offer dining right now, but it's outside, and if a rain cloud were to come over, you'd have quite a bit of water with your food, and that's not something to look forward to. Our town hall has opened, as I stated earlier in an earlier meeting last week. We haven't had any incidents whatsoever. We've got sanitizer, masks, etc. at the entry door, and it's being used. And we've got markings on the floor for social distancing. And we just haven't been inundated with customers. We've had what I would call a light, steady stream. But if that keeps up, that'll be fine with me. Our library will probably open maybe next week, if not the week after. And there's a lot of people looking forward to that. I wish we had a bunch of restaurants that were waiting in the wings to open, but we don't have that. We're still waiting to see what the impact of the school opening will have on our recreation programs, because we do have after-school programs that care for children, and we're waiting to see what will happen when the school gets ready to implement their plan for reopening. The pavilion behind our town hall is available for people who want to make reservations to use that on any day of the week. It's been very popular in the past, and we hope the popularity will spike up again once people are comfortable with getting together in a social setting. We've got a limit on the number of people who can go in there right now, but we are hoping for the best and hoping the respikes that we see in other sections of the country do not come back on beautiful downtown Rush.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Always good things happening in Rush. Eileen, how about Scottsville? What are the good things happening there?
Well, things are going well. Things are pretty quiet. North Road project is still going on. They've been paving this past week. So we have a section of North Road that's paved between probably the railroad tracks and the high school. And they're working on that. They'll be moving on to the next section from the railroad up to the light. But they still have all that. They have to put curbing in there, do all that prep work up there. And then I know they're going to be doing entrances to driveways, the shoulders, the sidewalks, everything will be coming up. It's a long project, but it's nice to see some new paving on the road. The Owaka Place sidewalks, our DPW has just finished pouring cement, so the sidewalks are in, the forms are out, and now they're moving on to topsoil, seeding, and driveways to repair them. And they should be finished with that project in the next week or so. After that, they're going to move on to drainage issues that we have in the village. on our easements. We have a couple of easements that need drainage work. So the DPW will be moving on to that next. In terms of the fire district, again, we are in that period for a permissive referendum. We haven't heard anything as of yet. So if there is no permissive referendum by September 4th, then our fire district will be in place. Sales tax, we also took a hit like everybody else. Our sales tax was about 20% lower than the same period last year. Hopefully, we are going to be able to weather this. In our budget last year, we had 2 retirements, and that has helped us a bit in terms of 2 of our senior DPW workers retired near the beginning of the year. So that gave us some leeway in those salaries. And we have traditionally under budgeted our revenues from the sales tax. So when we increased it this year, it's probably was still under budgeted. So we're hoping that that will help us in weathering this decrease in sales tax revenue. So things so far are looking okay. We have a village election coming up. We have openings for 2 trustee seats. That election is going to be held September 15th at the Municipal Hall. And people should, wear their masks, file through correctly, and come and vote. As for the library, I have not gotten any indication of when they're reopening. They're still doing curbside service, but I will check and see if they have any plans for reopening in the near future. As for our pavilion in Johnson Park, that is still closed. We've decided to kind of wait and see how school reopening does and whether there is any spike with the school reopening before we start reopening the park for rental, for the pavilion for rental. So we're waiting on those things. Otherwise, things are quiet. Still, like Jerry was saying, we have outdoor dining. We have some indoor dining with spacing, and we are still waiting for some restaurants to open. Other than that, I think we are good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eileen. One question. I didn't quite get what you said at the end there. You're still waiting for what?
Oh, some of our restaurants haven't opened yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We have some outdoor seating and some limited indoor seating, but we still have some that are not open.
All right, great. Well, thank you. And now it's John Moffat's turn in the marvelous town of Mendon.
Chris, thanks for the opportunity. As I've mentioned other weeks, we are open for business at Town Hall. We do have all the CDC protocols in place, so we are seeing an influx of people for various things, hunting license, fishing licenses, marriage licenses, various items regarding applications. Also, school tax collection will begin shortly because the school tax bills will be coming out. So for all residents of the town of Mendon, we collect school taxes, including the residents who are in the Pittsford School District, because there are numerous parcels in the town of Mendon that are in the Pittsford School District. So we do collect school taxes for all residents, including obviously the village on Mendon-Honeoye Falls. We are coming out with instructions because the county executive came out with some information on paying school taxes via credit card without having to pay the 3% fee to the credit cards. So that is done through the county's website. So we have information on that that's going to appear in the Sentinel, as well as our Facebook page, so that residents can pay their school taxes online, town of Mendon residents at least. and we can reduce the foot traffic at Town Hall due to the pandemic. We, as everyone else, is talking about sales tax. We had a shortfall of about $60,000 in our second quarter. So we are working on our 2021 budget, and we'll absolutely be taking that information into consideration. We have the roof projects going on, which we're getting closer to the starting point, which is our community center in Legion and 2 buildings at our highway department. So those, we had a pre-construction meeting yesterday, so those are progressing. We also expect to start on our electric vehicle station at the Mendon Public Library. Probably within the next 30 days, that project should start. And our comprehensive plan, we have a Zoom meeting regarding our public participation in our comprehensive plan, which will take place on Tuesday, the 25th at 6 p.m. So I encourage residents to participate, and there will be time for public participation at that Zoom meeting. And as I mentioned last week, the library is open. They have some specific guidelines, so you should check the library's website for those specifics before going to the library, but they are open for business. So things are starting to look up a little bit, I think, as far as I've seen more and more people out and about. And certainly with summer winding down, I'm sure everybody likes to get out and outside and enjoy what we have left of some pretty good weather.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Rick, how about Honeoye Falls?
Well, thank you, Chris. It's good to see everybody. The village of Honeoye Falls, the true front gate to Monroe County. We're always happy to be here. And, you know, really not a lot of changes from last week's call overall. We were very pleasantly surprised by our sales tax number. We were down, and that's always a negative, only by around 15%. So that's a positive in some ways. I have reached back out to the county executive's office, really on behalf of all the villages. We talked about this on a village mayor's meeting just last evening. We had a Zoom meeting with our county group, and I've asked for the formula, if you will, of how that sales tax is all broken down. I know we've been given that, you know, I think a couple county executives ago. I think I remember seeing that information, but you know, people ask how come one village or town is down, you know, 20 or 30% versus another one that's only down 10%. So we're going to try to make sure we have that information to explain that. But again, we were pleasantly surprised with that negative, if you will. Our last flowing concert is this coming Tuesday, August 25th. Again, those have gone very well. Even with a little rain burst we got this past week, people still hunkered down and stayed and listened to some great music. John had mentioned, Supervisor Moffitt had mentioned that, you know, the roof projects that they have going on in conjunction with the town of Mendon, our partners with the Honeoye Falls Volunteer Ambulance. We're looking at that roof for that facility now too, starting to get some quotes and having people look at it. And that's a joint effort between the town and village to keep that building up and that service running positively. So again, our thanks always to the town of Mendon for their partnership. The last thing I wanted to mention, and this is something that we just found out about this past week, but some very good information. The Honeoye Falls Fire Department has just been awarded a FEMA grant for just under $160,000. This will be broken down. Approximately $152,285 will be awarded by FEMA, and then there'll be a 5% match from the village, so that'll be approximately $7,614. And this is for the purchase of 22 new air packs, or SCBAs as they're known as. And these will be for all of our trucks and all the jump seats and all the seating positions for the trucks. So this is a huge win for the fire department and for our communities overall. That's a couple $100,000 in savings that, we're getting through this FEMA grant. So kudos, and our hats are off to Chief Hood and his team. And I know Brian Anderson, our village administrator, was involved in that, and they worked with a great grant writer, and we're just really excited to be able to make this announcement. So that's a good win for the community.
All right. That's some great news, Rick. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Had a follow-up question for Jerry and Eileen, if you knew anything with regards to the collection of school taxes in your towns. You're also in Monroe County, so just want to confirm that people in Rush and Wheatland, I know, Eileen, you're the village, but
Right.
hopefully you know something about Wheatland, that they can also pay via credit cards. Do you have a capacity for that?
Right. I will check on that because it will be the town, and I do believe they do collect school taxes. I know the school is open for the first collection. If you pay it all at once, or if you pay that first amount, you can go to the school.
Mhm.
And then after that, it's either send it into the county, or I believe it's at the town offices. But I will check and make sure that that information is ready for next week.
Okay, thanks. Jerry, how about Rush? I know you're in a different school district.
Yes, and basically there's no change from previous years. All the methods of paying are going to be available, and I believe the county is weighing the 3% penalty, and that basically has nothing to do with Rush, but we administer the collection, so that 3% will not be added onto your school tax bill.
Excellent.
Chris,
Okay,
if
does
I could-
anybody have anything else? I didn't hear.
Chris, if I could jump in for a second,
Go ahead.
is that with Honeoye Falls-Lima schools in the town of Mendon, residents have not been able to pay by credit card in the past. So this is new
Oh, okay.
for us. And that took some coordination, and we appreciate that because the school had to request that of the county. So, and the school district did. So we certainly appreciate the cooperation of the school district in that regard. But other towns have been doing this for a while. Normally, the resident would have to pay the 3% fee, but due to the pandemic, that's been waived. So some other towns may have already been doing that, but we are acting as Jim Mirsky is the town clerk, is the tax collector. So we just act as the collector, and then the funds get turned over to the school district.
All right, great. Does anybody else have anything more to say? No? All right, so thank you all for watching this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Report. We look forward to seeing you again next week. So bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Chris.
Everyone.